Hi everyone, welcome to Poonam's kitchen. In today's video, I'll share my recipe for vegetable dum biryani, a royal rice-based dish. The method of cooking under dum ensures that all the flavors and aroma of the herbs and the spices stay intact in the biryani. Let's get started. To make vegetable dum biryani, I use a very simple formula, 1-1-3. 1 portion of basmati rice, 1 portion of sour yogurt, and 3 portions of assorted veggies. Today I am taking 1.5 cups of basmati rice, so 1.5 cups of sour yogurt and 4.5 cups of assorted veggies. From amongst the spices, I'll use salt, turmeric powder, coriander powder, cumin seeds or jeera. You could also use shahi jeera if available, black pepper powder, roasted cumin powder. I'll also use saffron and food color. This is optional. I'm using orange color. 1 tablespoon ginger garlic paste and 1.5 teaspoon green chili paste. This is a paste of 3 small green chilies. From amongst the whole spices, bay leaves, cinnamon sticks, cloves, cardamom, and mace, also known as Javitri, half cup milk, store-bought shahi biryani masala, 2 cups sliced onions, oil and desi ghee, a handful each of cilantro and mint leaves. I'll begin with sauteing the veggies. Now whenever I'm making biryani, the first thing that I take into consideration is the size of the pan. I look for a pan that is big enough so that all the veggies can sit in one single layer. Secondly, the height of the pan shouldn't be too much of excessive empty space in the pan once I have poured all the veggies and rice. Cooking biryani, we are working with a pan that has the pressure contained in itself. We're looking for a constant pressure inside the pan. The more the volume of the pan, the more would be the variation in the pressure and temperature at different layers of the veggies and rice. This pan works best for me if I'm making anywhere between 1.5 to 2.5 cups of rice. If I were cooking anything less than 1.5 cups, I would use a smaller pan. Let's begin with today's recipe. I'll set the pan to heat at medium and transfer a tablespoon of oil and a teaspoon of ghee. Once the oil is warm, I'll add 2 teaspoons cumin seeds and let them crackle. Once the jeera is done, I'll add the carrot, the chopped carrot. I've chopped it pretty big so that even after cooking, you could feel the big chunks of the veggies. The chopped carrot. I'm reducing the heat for now while I'm adding the veggies. Cauliflower florets. And the cubed potatoes. I'll increase the heat to high and cook these for 2 minutes. I'll add 3/4 teaspoon salt. I'm adding just enough salt for the veggies right now. And give this a toss. It's been 2 minutes. I'm reducing the heat to low. I'll cover this with a lid and cook for another 6 to 7 minutes. I'm looking at cooking the veggies almost 65 to 70% done. It's been 7 minutes. Let's take a look at the veggies. Partially cooked just the way I want it. You could take a bite of the carrot. You should find it cooked, yet it should have a good crunch. That's what we are looking for in the veggies, because they're going to get cooked along with the rice as well. I switched off the heat. And I'll remove the pan also from heat. Now while the veggies cool down a little, I'll prepare the marinade. For the marinade, I'll transfer the sour yogurt to a bowl, ginger garlic paste and the green chili paste, cinnamon sticks. I'm taking 2 small sticks, small bay leaves, mace, 4 cloves and 3 pieces of cardamom. I'll just slit them a little. I'm not opening them fully because we do not want all the seeds to come out. No one likes the small seeds coming in the mouth. So we want the flavors to infuse, but still not want them to come in the mouth. A teaspoon of cumin powder, black pepper powder, 1/5 teaspoon, 1/3 teaspoon salt. I've already added the salt in the veggies, so the salt is only for the yogurt. and very little turmeric powder. 1/8 teaspoon for some color. A heaped teaspoon of coriander powder. Give this all a good mix. If your yogurt is not sour, then you could add a teaspoon of lemon juice to this. And take thick yogurt. If your yogurt is not thick, you can always strain it. To this I'll add the peas. I'm still saving the corn. I'll add that later. And the cooked veggies. Also pour any liquid if there is. I'll mix this thoroughly with the yogurt so that all the veggies are coated with the spiced yogurt. Now this is one preparation that you can always do well ahead of time. If you have any guests coming over, you could do this several hours before actual cooking and store it in your refrigerator. To the veggies, I'll add a tablespoon of Biryani Masala. Mix this thoroughly. I could have added it along with the other spices while I was doing it in the yogurt. I'll cover this with a lid and allow to marinate. While the veggies sit in the marinade, I'll wash and soak the rice. It's been more than an hour that I soaked the rice and set the veggies for marination. Actually, just half an hour is good enough for that. Now fry the onions. Just see how I have sliced the onions. I removed each slice from the core so that all the slices can be opened up. Try to maintain a uniform width for all the slices. They're not very broad. I'll set the same pan to heat. Now at low medium, I'll add a tablespoon of oil and transfer the onions to the warm oil. Give these a toss. Now I'll fry the onions for around 3 to 4 minutes till they turn translucent. I'm not wanting them to turn brown. Now when you're frying the onions, you can always cook the rice on the other gas stove. But right now I'm showing you all the steps separately. It's been 4 minutes and this is how the onions are looking like, translucent. I'll switch off the heat. Traditionally, the onions for biryani are fried a little more brown than this, but I prefer it like this so that the biryani becomes juicy and not dry. I'll also remove the pan from the heat since I still have rice to cook. And there is a lot of cooking over when we fry the onions, so I don't want to overdo this. If the rice were already parboiled, I would have continued with layering over the onions. To make rice, I'm setting this pan to heat at medium. And I'll transfer 3.5 cups of water. While the water boils, I'll add some oil, close to a tablespoon. To this, I'll add 2 3/4 teaspoon of salt. 2 teaspoons plus another 3/4 of a teaspoon. The rice not having enough salt is the most common problem in making biryani, so you have to be really careful. The whole taste of the biryani gets spoiled if the salt is less. The trick to the amount of salt that I have used is, whatever is the amount of salt that you use, if you were cooking the rice 100% in the pan and not draining it at all, add that quantity, and on top of that add little more salt. We're not going to cook 100%, and also we are going to drain the rice, so some of the salt will be washed away. You can mix the salt and taste the water. It should be very salty to you. What is usually said is that it should taste like seawater, but not everybody has tasted seawater. So the clue is pretty salty, more salty than what you would want to eat or drink. I'll add a small cinnamon stick, 1 small piece of mace, Javitri, and a small bay leaf. I'll transfer the soaked rice. This with the lid. I'm going to cook the rice at medium heat. I'll keep a constant watch. I do not want to completely cook the rice. They have to be just partially cooked, somewhere between 65 to 70% cooked. It's been 3 minutes. I've been keeping a constant watch. Let's take a look. You should be able to break the rice between your fingers, but it shouldn't be mushy. This is like partially cooked rice, 60-70% done. I'll immediately switch off the heat. I'll drain this right away. If for any reason you're not ready to assemble the layers of biryani, then do save some of the starched water. The starched water can be used to moisten the partially cooked rice. I'm ready to assemble the layers. See how the onions have changed color? I have the bottom layer of onions. Right now the heat is off. Here I have the marinated veggies. I'll spread the veggies all over the onions along with the liquid. Spread this evenly. Make sure the yogurt covers all over the onions. That is what is going to keep the onions and the vegetables moist. On top of the veggies, I'll add half the mint leaves, half the cilantro leaves, the corn. I'll top this up with half the rice. Spread it around. I had warmed the milk and added saffron to it. So the saffron has been sitting in the milk for some time. I'll transfer some of the milk here right now. Spreading the saffron. And I'll pour in half the milk. A heaped teaspoon of biryani masala. We want biryani masala in each layer of rice. On top of this, I'll add 2 teaspoons of Desi Ghee. I prefer to melt the ghee so that I can spread it evenly. Now I'll top this up with the rest of the rice. If the rice has turned dry, then just use some of the starch water and sprinkle it over the rice. The rest of the cilantro leaves. Now why am I doing it like this? So that each layer has all the flavors. That is the whole intention. The rest of the mint leaves. As you can see, I haven't used too many leaves. I don't want the leaves to dominate the biryani masala. And now the rest of the saffron milk. I'm spreading it with a spoon so that saffron goes all over. Now I'll pour it in. Now, essentially, there are 3 things that I have done to keep the rice juicy, to keep the biryani juicy. I didn't dry the onions while frying. I used a good amount of yogurt and I used milk at this stage. These 3 things will take care that your biryani is very moist. A heaped teaspoon of biryani masala. Make sure that you do not dump the masala only at one place. Though I'm using the biryani masala straight from the pack, I would suggest that you pound it in a mortar and pestle and strain in a small sieve before using. And 3 teaspoons Desi Ghee. Ghee is something that you could add as per your choice. But without Desi Ghee, biryani is like incomplete. I'll add a few drops of orange color. Now this is completely optional. You can totally omit this step. Now since we are making dum biryani, how do we apply dum? First of all, I'm going to use foil. I'll cover the pan with this foil. I want all the flavors to be infused, to stay inside. I have a pretty tight fitting lid, but still I want to do this step so that this fits in fine. And the lid has set very well. Now just so that the pressure is contained inside, we can go a step ahead. Use some wheat flour dough and seal the joints. A good amount of dough will be used, so be prepared for that. Tear off any extra portion of the aluminum foil. I have sealed the pan completely. There is this one vent. Cover this as well. Now the pan is ready to go on heat. Now since this is a big pan, I prefer to use the bigger burner for the final cooking. Switch on the heat. Cooking on high for 1 minute, since everything is cold right now. In a minute now that I kept it at high, the pan should be warm at the bottom now. I'll reduce the heat to low medium. I'll show you what it means for my burner. And 4 o'clock at the knob. I'll cook the rice at low medium for 10 minutes. Actually, you will see that the dough is softening up. If need be, just reset it so that it covers the pan completely. As you may be able to see, we do not see any steam escape from any point. After the first 10 minutes at low to medium heat, you can see the dough starts hardening up, but it's not cracking at any place. This will make sure that the steam does not escape. Now I'll reduce the heat to absolute minimum and cook for another 10 minutes. For my knob, it is at 3 o'clock. This is absolute minimum, cannot go lower than this. So now cooking biryani for another 10 minutes. It's been another 10 minutes. I'll switch off the heat. Will immediately remove this from heat. Now I'll let this sit in its own heat for another 10 to 15 minutes. At least 15 minutes before I open this up. Time to open this up, remove the dough. As soon as you open the pan of biryani, it's divine. Let's check if the vegetables are cooked. Take a flat spatula, dig it in. Move aside the rice and the veggies. There's no water, it's ready. Mix up the top so that the color spreads evenly. Just the top 1 inch. Scoop out a big helping so that you get portions from each layer of biryani. Look at the lovely colors. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked my recipe, do give it a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment box below. See you again with a new recipe very soon. Till then, bye.